It's the Elsa Show with Clay Nova. Serving up trending news and conservative views. Brought to you by the Elsa Collection and Refuge Medical. And now, it's time for the show.
Oh, hey, y'all. So we got to talk about this, Clay. Literally just before we hit the start button there, Clay goes, "Hey, your beard trim." So my husband, his place of employment does not allow beards. It's just a nope for them, except for No Shave November. So he sneaks in, don't tell his boss, he sneaks in like a week or so, maybe even a little bit longer before November starts, and he starts growing it in. And this is his favorite time of year just for that reason alone, that he gets to grow the beard. And I love the beard. I think it's freaking adorable. So I like beards. They're just rugged. They're good. They're cool. I like it. And but the minute he does, he pulls up the beard brush and the beard oil and and then he goes for his trims like every, I don't know, whatever he does, like every week and a half, every 10 days or so to neaten it all up and everything. I'm like, the drama. I feel like, I don't know. Do you do all that? Is this a big?
I have a beard brush. I have beard wax. I do not use beard oil. But you remember I shaved mine not that long ago.
I remember. Look how full it grew in already.
I haven't shaved it since. And even I saw my sister over the weekend, and even she said, she was like, "Your beard is back quick."
Yeah.
Yeah, because it's very odd. Like my dad, my son, like most of the men in my family on my dad's side, they can't grow facial hair to save their lives.
It's
but I got my mom's Italian. That's where all this comes from.
Thanks, mom's side.
Yeah, so I'm the one guy who gets to grow a beard, and I love it. I mean, the deal. I'm very much like your husband. 25 plus years in the Army, and then I worked a job that you couldn't have a beard for 3 years after I retired, and as soon as I was able, beard, and I'll never be without it. Like I'll shave it for cleanup, but other than that, I'm keeping it.
Yeah, I totally get it. Like all the women watching right now are like, yeah, we get our version of it. Like, if I didn't have to shave my legs for for an extended period of time, that would be delightful. That would be amazing. We don't get that luxury. I mean, yes, I know there are women that are like, I don't care, blah blah blah. I'm a woman who cares. That's all I could say. I mean, I'm not going to be walking around like Chewbacca or something.
Just go back to in remote places, in the worst weather conditions, whether it was cold, freezing, desert, pouring rain, whatever it was, there I was.
Yep. Oh,
never again.
No. I think my husband will be the same way when he does retire. That's going to be it. He's going to have that furry face for the very long foreseeable future, which is fine by me. I like it. He's got the salt and pepper hair and everything. It looks very distinguished. So I like it. It's all good. All right, I'm sorry. I have derailed all of us with this beard talk. So, hello, everyone. It's great to be here. We've got a great show for you.
The government's open again. But who really blinked first? Hollywood's elite are fuming. Turns out they don't like when their party folds faster than their Botox. Chaos at Berkeley. Turning Point USA meets the angry mob, and free speech takes another hit. Democrats are eating their elders alive, the old guard's losing control, and Gen Z's calling the shots. Across the pond, the BBC's in meltdown, caught editing Trump's words, and now bracing for $1 billion lawsuit. Back home, Somali tribal politics are showing up in Minneapolis, and America's unity is on the line. Oh, and Tom Brady cloned his dog, because apparently science ran out of things to fix.
And starting right off with this, and this is such a good one because it segues right, it just piggybacks right on the next one after it. So some people are feeling pretty happy and some other people are not, and I think it's very easy to guess which ones are what. So government's finally back open after weeks of will they or won't they. Washington finally flipped the switch and somehow made it sound heroic. So they passed the bill to reopen the government. I think it's still got to go through that final approval, right?
So there's a vote that's going to happen today. Folks, it is Wednesday, our normal recording time-ish. It's about 4:45 on the East Coast right now. But so there's still a vote today, and then it's got to go to the president's desk for signature. And he has said the bill as it stands right now he will sign. So as long as between what he was shown yesterday and what is, to his desk later today, he will sign it. So no delay from the White House. The question is, how quickly does the rest of this open back up? And I don't know. No.
Yeah, I haven't the faintest idea. Obviously, hopefully it's very, very quickly. It was 8 Democrats that.
It was 7 plus 1. So it was
7 plus 1. Thank you.
Democrats and 1 independent. And I've got Fetterman has been that guy the whole time. So he's been on board with keeping the government open. So you've got 2 from Nevada, Cortez Masto and Rosen, both from Nevada. You've got the independent is King from Maine. Then you've got 2 from New Hampshire, Shaheen and Hassan. And then you've got Kane from Virginia and Dick Durbin from Illinois, who was probably the biggest surprise. However, you've got, Fetterman is, and I think he knows this, he's probably done. The Dems are going to do everything to make sure when it comes time for his reelection that he is not, that he loses. Like, I don't think he's going to get any support from the DNC funding wise. And I know he's trying to do the right thing, but he is probably a lame duck, whether he likes it or not. Maybe not. Who knows? But Durbin and Shaheen are both lame ducks. So they are not, and that's another discussion, another topic for later, but they're in that crowd of folks who are not coming back. 7 plus 1 was the count to get it over the line, to get it to 60.
So, I don't think that there's no attempt here at damage control. 7 is, it's not a great number. So they're still, if it were up to them, if they didn't have those 7 that flipped over, this would still be going on. They would still be, stomping their feet and holding their breath and holding Americans hostage. Right. There's no question about it. Yeah, exactly. In which now they're, let's face it, they're still jumping up and down and holding their breath like toddlers. It's just, a different tantrum that they're so mad that they gave in. Particularly Schumer. This was supposed to be his big stand, and now it's ruined. He's really like a cartoon villain, isn't he? He's just a cartoon villain. That character.
It's bad leadership, but here's the thing that I think people are losing sight of. This is actually just an extension. There's balanced budget in this. There's no budget period in this. Right. This is an extension to the end of January 2026. So that same extension that the GOP was asking for in late September to keep this open so that they could discuss it, come up with a plan, come up with a budget, and then pass a budget that the Dems refused to support. Right. That's where we're going anyway. So they shut this down for, 43 days now? I think 42 days. For nothing.
Absolutely nothing. They gained nothing. They won nothing. They did nothing. And that is, perfect summarization of their entire existence. Do nothing, say a lot of BS, and do nothing, accomplish nothing. And none of what they did helped one single American, so whatsoever. And, and of course, that's how they're trying to paint this, like that they were fighting for the American people as you're starving them, as you're denying them, pay. Yeah, it's amazing to me.
So like the question you brought up, Schumer, which is, he's at the middle. He is the epicenter of all this. Right. And the question that keeps getting asked, and it's a great strategy question, and even the Ragin' Cajun, who, I do pay attention to, even he brought it up as what was the end state? Like, what the Democrats had no plan going into this. Right. Their only plan was no. And because, the GOP, the Republicans had the advantage. They knew where they sat. They knew that this was, they had a message. They had all of that prepared. And the Democrats walked in with nothing other than, the very, very dishonest, ACA for Americans. When in reality, it's not ACA. It's not Obamacare for Americans.
Right.
It's Obamacare for illegal aliens is the biggest thing. And so, even he said, he's like, there was no other option. This was going to fail from the beginning, which again rests in Schumer's lap. And there are a lot of people, both inside and outside of politics, calling for his resignation, calling for his head. I hate to put it that way, but that's what they're looking at.
Yeah, I mean, obviously, pretty much everyone on the right would be saying that no matter what, because he's just garbage, and he's a corpse. He's a walking corpse. He's 100 years old. Enough, just go away. Same with Pelosi, who is finally going to be going away. Supposedly, I'll believe it when I see it. Right? Like she's just a bad penny. She keeps turning up.
Yeah, I mean, we're going to talk about that, the exodus that's happening in a little while. But Schumer is, truthfully, he's not up for re-election until 2028, and has not said anything one way or the other, whether he's staying or going. But the move right now is for him to be caucused out of his job, and the name everybody keeps throwing out there is the dumbest, probably the second dumbest person in Congress behind Crockett, and that's AOC.
Yeah. It just, I mean, listen, I'm rooting for that. I'm completely right.
And here's what you need to do. Let's get ahead of things a little bit. You need to start working on your impression of AOC. That's where this needs to go, right?
Yeah.
Kamala's done. You need to get AOC down pat. That's what you need.
Yeah. And I'm so ready to fully retire Kamala. I mean, she can come out, every once in a blue moon for a quick visit. I just did a video recently. It was just, like one of those how to talk like a politician. And it was just using that, word salad, circular speak. And I didn't even do it in Kamala's voice. And I knew that people were going to be like, do it as Kamala. You should have done it as Kamala, blah, blah, blah. And I just don't feel like it. I just don't feel like it. I'm not saying I'm never going to do it, but it's time to move on. It's time to move on to AOC. I agree. Stay tuned, guys. It'll happen.
But yeah, I mean, that group of folks, that 7+1, they got it. They're getting it over the line today.
Yeah,
it'll go to the president. He'll sign it, and then, but the question is, and then what? Caroline Leavitt came out today and said basically every piece of governmental data that we rely on for the month of October will never be recovered. So unemployment, inflation, jobs, all of those things, the economic numbers that we rely on are never to be recovered. They're just not. They're done.
It's so crazy.
Yeah.
It's so crazy. All for nothing. All for nothing. It was, there were power plays going on here, and that's kind of the extent of it. The Dems, Schumer specifically, thought they could that they could pull this off and paint Trump as the villain in this, the doer of all of this happening. Not the case, as we've stated over and over again, not the case at all. And this is what you get for it. This is what you got for it. Absolutely nothing. The scorn now of your own party and the calling for you to be done. Just go away, Chuck. Everybody wants you to be gone now, your own party, because you thought you could pull off something that you couldn't. So,
yeah. And like you said, they tried to paint the president as the bad guy,
right?
And very quickly dispelled a number of ways. One was like, because you saw it and I saw it for the last 40 days, it's been, they control the House, they control the Senate, they control the White House, they control, and they threw POTUS or SCOTUS in there. They control the Supreme Court. They could end this if they wanted to. And in reality, that's not how it works.
Not how it works. Not how it works.
Thrown out, and then the internet did what the internet does, and they pulled out all the old footage of Obama and others talking about, you can't hijack, you can't blackmail a president, you can't do this, it's irresponsible, and they all look like idiots, all of them. And again, it rests on Schumer because he is good, bad, or indifferent. He's the guy in charge, and so. Yeah, they all look stupid. Even after a great, quote unquote, great election night a week ago, right at a week ago, they still all look dumb. All of them collectively, they all look dumb. So
yeah, it's like taking a big win, which as we talked about last week, it's not the win that people want it to be painted as. Yes, I mean we should have flipped those and everything, of course, but these are deep blue places. They were expected. This was fully expected. Not to say that an attempt shouldn't be made. Obviously, it should and was. I mean, valiant attempt is just really hard. And then, then you have all the illegal voters going on in there. So there's so many things happening in those states that I don't want to call them a wash, but that's kind of what it feels like. So wasn't this big win, wasn't the signal of a blue tide or anything like that. It was very predictable. It was very unfortunate. We were saying Mamdani was going to win, months before this ever even happened. Like, really, yeah, we already know what's going to happen because we know what that state looks like. We already know what it looks like. So come on.
Yeah. Jay Jones, I think, was the one that crept up on us, but it's, regardless. But the question is, even if they vote today, which they're supposed to, and it goes to the president's desk and he signs it, which he's gonna, how long until like the airlines are back to normal? How long until they rectify the pay situation, right? How long does all of that take to get things back on track again for federal law enforcement, for air traffic controllers, for all of those things, before things are quote unquote back to normal? One of the concessions that was made were, all of the layoffs from last fall have been essentially put back in place, or maybe not from last fall, but within the last few months. And all those people are getting back pay. It's, I think from the beginning of the shutdown, everybody who got laid off as a result, or maybe it's even a little before that, they're all getting put back on the job and they're getting back pay. Okay, fine. How quick does all of that happen?
Right. Yeah. Did you see the tweet from, or not, I guess not, the Truth Social, I guess technically, from President Trump calling out, I think it was air traffic controllers, people, calling out and not showing up for work and doing all that stuff, and really laid into them for stepping away from their duty, their service, basically. And it was a long thing that I kind of, as a traveler, as in my selfish needs, of course, I agreed. I was like, yeah, you tell them, get to work, dang it. And then there's the other side of that is like, hang on. If my family, if I can't pay my bills and I can't do the things I need to do because my government is not doing what they're supposed to do for me, this is a give and take, not a take, or a give. So, yeah. Yeah,
I don't agree with that, truthfully. This wasn't a strike. They didn't ask for this. They didn't, this isn't like Reagan back in the 80s when he fired them all, and because they refused. This is, like you said, this is them. They've got to feed their families. These folks have got, they've got income. They got to pay their rent. They got to pay all of those things. And, when they used authorized PTO, which they weren't getting paid for, was essentially just like, hey, I've still got 4 days off, or I've got whatever, to not be at work to potentially go interview or look for another job or work a side job or something to make some money to feed the family. Okay, fine. I have no problem with that. I know he probably got a little irritated with it, but folks got to eat. I'm not upset with them for that. Because it's not of their own doing. They're victims of all of this. And, there was no recourse for them, for a lot of them. And it is what it is. So I just want them to get back online. Truthfully, I want the people who need, I'm clarifying here, the people who need WIC and SNAP, I want them to get that back online, right? Not the freeloaders, not the people who are taking it and selling their food stamp, their card, whatever, not those people, but the people who really need those things to feed their family and survive, those I want to get back online as soon as possible. But, it's the government. So how long is it going to take to turn the lights back on? And I don't know.
Right. And, I guess if there's any, upsides here, I think part of that whole thing with the SNAP benefits, it did expose, it shined a pretty bright light, a pretty bright spotlight on the problems with that, and the abuses of it is really the case, the extreme amounts of abuse going on with that system. So, in that regard, there's definitely some good to come. And I agree with you fully that the people who are truly in need and simply need it, let's get them restored as quickly as possible. That would probably be, the number one probably priority, in service members, obviously, and everything else. But it's a great question, Clay. I don't know the time frame of that. I mean, right?
Yeah. So we'll just have to, travelers are going to have to be patient for another, I would assume, a week or so till things settle down. The ATA, air traffic control, ATC folks are probably not going to get paid tomorrow. It's probably going to take a little while to figure all that out and get them paid. But they're probably, knowing they're going to get paid, are probably a little more apt to show up to work. And I think a lot of that stuff will clarify. But it's probably going to be dicey for another week or so. And then I think things will get back to normal. But it's still, this is just a black eye for the Dems, but here's the thing. We collectively, as Americans, cannot forget this. And we have a horrible habit of doing that.
Yeah.
We have a horrible habit of the headline news, 30-minute attention span maximum. And come next election cycle, a year from now, every single GOP candidate for every single political job across the country needs to bring this back up. We can't forget that this happened, a year from now.
Yeah, absolutely. And it's historic, obviously. This has never happened to this extent.
One ever.
Right.
Yep.
So hopefully Americans will remember that and remember who's responsible for it, most importantly. And remember guys like this, which video I'm going to show.
Whatever reason, those members decided to vote the way that they did. I'm disappointed. I think that more could have been done here, but there is another opportunity in January, and we'll see what happens.
He's disappointed and doesn't understand how they could have voted the way they did. Well, because they actually gave a crap about Americans and what they actually needed. How about that, you selfish, round man?
In the sense of, let's not forget the wrongdoings of the past, right? For those of you that aren't familiar, I think most people are. That's J.B. Pritzker, the governor of Illinois. He's a guy during COVID who vacated his own state. He's the governor of Illinois during COVID. He's got a place in Wisconsin and he's got a place in Florida, and that's where he spent most of COVID. And when I say a place, I'm not talking an apartment. I'm not talking a condo. I'm talking horse ranches, right? And so he vacated, left his state as the governor, and he's disappointed because more could have been done. He needs to shut his fat face.
Yes.
And realize that people need to eat, people need to pay bills, and legislative, people in those elected positions have an obligation to their constituency, which he does not give a crap about, no matter what he tells you.
Yeah. He's obviously made that completely
He's not
clear.
alone.
He's not alone. He's not alone in the boat of out of touch, uncaring, selfish people, right? Let's talk about these goofballs. Oh my goodness. Listen, we're all so sick and tired of listening to them. And you have a better list than I do. I have the late night people who, went on their little pouty rants and stomped their feet and had a fit. So they're our moral superiors. They're angry again. Maybe they'll make a nice black and white video about it like they like to do, and they can all sing a song together.
So listen, folks, the list of celebrities, and I use that term very loosely, who are upset because these 7+1, the Democrats caved, that's the word that they keep using, they're the usual suspects. And so it's Jon Stewart, it's Stephen Colbert, it's Seth Meyers, it's Jimmy Kimmel, it's Don Lemon, Whoopi Goldberg, Sonny Hostin, and what do all these people have in common? They don't have to worry about money. They don't have to worry about feeding their family. They don't have to worry about any of those things because they're extremely wealthy. All of them extremely wealthy. So, they're upset very much in the vein of J.B. Pritzker about, the government reopening. Well, you know what? Screw you. From the working people of America, screw you. Like, I don't want to hear any of your high horse crap. You're disappointed in the Democrats for quote unquote caving. I don't care. I really don't care. This has gone on way too long. And these people on these platforms, listen, we all know Don Lemon's done. I would tell you the View's days are numbered. Kimmel is walking a very tight rope. Colbert's on his way out. Like, these folks, their message is really wearing on people. But I've had it. Like, literally, screw you. I'm tired.
Oh, just the arrogance and the audacity. And I don't know who it was. I don't think she was anybody of any big name. Maybe she was, but one of them, I caught a clip of them talking about her going to her eyebrow technician or something. Did you see that?
No,
she's like, when I went to get my eyebrows done, they're having a hard time, and it's like, to be more
out of touch.
Oh, more elite and out of touch. Like, you really thought that was a winning, smart thing to say. Like, these people are struggling to put food on their table, and you're pressed about your appointment not being able to. Oh, I can't. It's insane. You mentioned the talk show host people who I know you don't watch them. I don't watch them. Probably most of our audience doesn't watch them either. So all the more reason just to give you the quick, snapshot, so to speak, of what they all have to say about this. So here's that.
Democrats' huge victories in Tuesday's election. So naturally, Senate Democrats looked at all of that and said, now is the time to cave. Oh, look, I just got a fundraising email from the Democrats that said, Seth, this is urgent. Can you chip in $5? We promise to do jack with it.
So, yes, the shutdown may have been long and painful for millions of Americans, but at least it achieved jack squat.
They f***ing caved on the shutdown. Not even a full week removed from the best election night results they've had in years. 7 Democratic senators and voted with their Republican counterparts to end the shutdown and reopen the government. And did they get their extended health care subsidies?
Democrats wanted the deal to include extending subsidies for the Affordable Care Act. Instead, they got a promise to vote on it at a later date.
I cannot believe it! You had the wind at your back. Election victories all over the country. Democrats, you sold out the entire shutdown not to get what you wanted, but for a promise to not get what you wanted later. Where in the art of war? Hold on.
They got a promise from Republicans in the Senate to hold a vote on health care sometime in the future. And if there's one thing we know about Trump and his merry band of sycophants, it's that their word is as good as gold. I mean, it is incredible at his age that Chuck Schumer is still able to bend over so far. Chuck Schumer is basically every parent who tells their kid, no more iPad, that's it. Next thing you know, he's playing Roblox at the dinner table. This was such a big cave by the Democrats. Bruce Wayne offered to buy it.
Yeah, I mean, first of all, let me talk about Jon Stewart. The man, he needs to calm down. He needs to calm down. He's like going to have an aneurysm right there. Is he always like that? Is that his?
Yeah, he's been the New York angry Jew his entire adult life. Like that.
People watch it.
That's been his shit for years. Yeah.
I genuinely, and I'll tell you this honestly, whether if he was on the right and that's the way he delivered everything that he said, there was no possible way I could sit and watch that. I don't know how anybody does it. And if anybody's able to, God bless you. I don't know how you do it, but awful. But again, that the theme obviously throughout, they must have all compared notes. They caved. Did they cave? How could they cave?
Yep.
Because American citizens need to live. They need to work and they need to get paychecks and we need to live and we need to not be held ransom by elitist Democrats who want to, stomp their feet and make some political power play for their own benefit and not for ours, because we know that's a big crock. Oh, they're awful humans.
Yeah, but again, it goes back to the fact, what they kept going back to at the end was the ACA thing, right?
Mm-hmm.
And the fact Republicans are like, we'll vote on it later. And okay, they know what the outcome is going to be. That's great. But it goes back to the fact that they didn't have a plan going in. They knew this was a loss. They knew America as a whole, right? Even their own constituents don't want to pay for ACA for illegal immigrants. They don't. We're tired of it, right? Even Democrats don't want to pay for that stuff. They're tired of it too. So, they didn't have a good position going in, and they didn't have another course of action except to, this never should happen in the first place. But once they started it, this was the only outcome, only. So they can be as pissed off as they want as they sit in their mansions, in Beverly Hills, or they sit in their penthouses in New York and all these other places. But the rest of America, the rest of us got to eat. The rest of us got to work. People have got to do those things. That's how this place survives. It doesn't survive on, entertainers running their mouth. That's not how America works. They think it does. They think that life is centered around them, but
they really do. They really fully believe it.
They could all go off the air tomorrow, and you know what it does to America? Zero. Not a damn thing.
Nothing. No one will miss them. We've got TikTok people. We don't need you.
It's the level of arrogance, and Kimmel's the worst. He's talking about Trump and his sycophants.
Pot.
Yeah, like the guy who's surrounded by yes men. Literally, his entire staff is filled with yes men. Shut up. We're tired of your mouth. The rest of us have got to work and we got to eat.
The thing when I actually pause for a moment to give them an actual thought, the thing that I always question is, do they believe what they're saying? Like, that's what I would, if I could get them alone and go, okay, but really,
Yep.
is this just about the money you're getting and you'll just say whatever they tell you to say? Or you really believe such absolute drivel and nonsense? You think they believe it wholeheartedly? Yeah.
Because they live in that echo chamber, right? They're only surrounded by people like them.
Mm-hmm.
They're only surrounded by wealthy people who have no monetary worries of any kind, right?
Yeah.
And so they live in that. That's why there's the high density. Truthfully, that's why there's the high density of trans kids in Hollywood. It's the same thing, right? They all talk themselves into what right looks like, and they don't get any outside influence. There's no other discussion, and so that's what they truly believe. I honestly, I truly believe that is who they are. You could, if you took their money away and they were forced to actually earn a living, their views would probably change. But unless you change that, that's who those people are. Period.
Yeah. Yeah. It seems like all of them that live in that, Hollywood bubble, whether it's New York or Hollywood, it's conceptually, I mean, the same thing. But in that celebrity, we'll call it the celebrity bubble, they all seem to, do that. Loxy heard all of them. They're basically, shared notes to have the same talking points. It's those ones. And then you see the ones that have kind of pulled themselves away from and looked around and said, this place is crazy. This mentality is not right. And I'm going to go out somewhere in the Midwest and, buy a farm or a ranch or something and just have some land and get out of this. Those are the ones you see saying some pretty sensible. You're Matthew McConaughey's of the world. And, I think he might be somewhere in the middle, potentially. I'm not even positive, to tell you the truth, but I've heard him say some very intelligent things. Yeah. I've also heard him say some goofy things too, but that's besides, whatever. Your Gary Sinise's of the world, your Adam Carolla's of the world, right?
That's actually the example I was going to bring up. If you go back to the Man Show, right? You had Carolla and Kimmel sitting next to each other, back when they were nobodies.
Yeah.
Really. Right. And that was their first break. Both of them was the Man Show. Now, Carolla went in a direction where he truthfully didn't get a lot of recognition and notoriety after that show ended. Kimmel, however, jumped and went into that, and he got full-fledged into Hollywood.
Right.
And as soon as he did that, and then he got the Tonight Show gig and everything else, you can see him drifting further and further left because he got isolated, where Carolla was the opposite, right? And he kind of held true to who he is. But 20 years ago, they were sitting on the same set, watching women on trampolines, drinking beer, right? Watching young kids under the age of 15 saying some really outlandish stuff and laughing like crazy.
Remember that kid? I remember that very well. Yeah.
Kimmel with the blackface and all that other stuff, right? That's who he used to be.
Yeah.
But once he got into that elitist Hollywood crowd, he has changed completely.
Such a perfect example. Such a perfect. And I'll tell you, I'll commend both of them, Carolla and Kimmel, that they have actually maintained a friendship over the years, that they are still friends. Adam Carolla still says kindly things about him and kind of gives him not necessarily a pass, but it counters the off-puttingness of Kimmel with, saying that he knows him personally, he knows him on a personal level, and he believes he's, a really terrific guy and a good-hearted man. I have an extremely difficult time believing that's the case. If but credit to him for maintaining that friendship and not letting, the vast differences between them, end the friendship. And most people can't do that these days. And I'll be honest, I don't even know if I could these days. I just don't know if I can maintain a relationship with somebody who disagrees fundamentally, morally. I think that's the biggest thing. Like, we can agree as far as religion is, because we got completely no problem whatsoever. We could be on different sides of the political aisle, no problem. But when you get down to the moral, ethical core of everything, those values, like if we can't align on something that is kind of the core of my existence, I don't know where do we go from there? So, all just to say credit to both of them for being able to do that. I don't know if I've ever heard Kimmel talk about his friendship with Carolla, though. Have you?
I never have. Nope. He avoids it completely.
Yeah, because he knows he could get canceled for it.
Yeah.
You can't be friends with the other side. You can't like the other side. They're evil. They're fascists. They're fascists. Speaking of, oh, there we go. Accidental segue. Oh, Clay and I are going to take a deep breath.
Yeah. So this is right. So this is the perpetual, right? And I hate using that word, but that's kind of where we're at with this. Since Charlie Kirk's assassination, there's been an uptick in violence on college campuses, specifically against Turning Point, TPUSA events. And we had Illinois State table flipping. We had University of Iowa table flipping. And listen, folks, this is not new news. The targeting of TPUSA is new, because we could go back to Riley Gaines, right? Being locked in a classroom, fear for her life, right? We can talk about, Charlie Kirk having some events, turning point of his own, before the assassination, where there was some issues. But we had Berkeley just the other day. And so Turning Point USA event, and you had Antifa outside.
Yep. Yeah. Awful. Here's what that looked like. I mean, just despicable, and grotesque, and we're going to talk about it in a second. But let me to calm everyone's blood pressure from watching. And there's many more videos like it from all of this. But let's calm our blood pressure just for a moment and take a look at this. That's inside. It is funny. Oh my gosh, I'm such a loser. I'm already I'm tearing up at that.
That's perfect though. Well done to you.
Yeah.
Because
thank you.
The inside versus the outside, right?
Yeah.
So
yeah.
You've got
totally different vibe, right?
900, because these are the numbers, the 900 TPUSA folks on the inside. And then you've got about 150 Antifa or associated people on the outside.
Right.
And what ended up happening was 4 arrests. 2 of them could questionably related. They actually got in a fight with each other and both got arrested. But then there were 2 people that were specifically from Antifa that got arrested. I think only 1 person potentially got hurt. But just general stupidity, right?
It's the irony of it, Clay, right? You have these people screaming "no fascists" or whatever their little chant was, in order to silence an opposing view. Like it never fails. They never fail to fail. They are consistently failing. And I caught this. I got one more video for the. I caught this little short video of this young woman, and if she isn't the embodiment of the stupidity, the ignorance, and the I can't even hear it. Here it is. Take a listen.
Here, and they are like a fascist organization, and nobody here agrees with what they are saying. And obviously Charlie Kirk has been a big issue with like a lot of college campuses and people on college campuses. So we just think obviously I didn't really follow him a lot, but knowing what he did and knowing the things that he was saying is just like vile and disgusting. So we don't want to support his organization, and I don't think that the Berkeley chancellor should have let them come here.
There you go. I don't
know. Go ahead.
So I don't like you. I don't really know anything about you. I have heard what you stand for, and I don't support that. So therefore, you shouldn't be allowed here at all.
And clearly you must be a fascist because other people said so.
Yes.
I mean, this is what we're dealing with. This is what we're dealing with. And every single argument that they have falls apart like a house of cards just by, you just have to do a little just below on it, just on the house of cards, all falls down because they have nothing of any intellect or resonance to say, nothing to back up these statements. And that, that's the part that enrages and exhausts all of us because
and again, to kind of lower everybody's blood pressure, that car was backfiring. Those were not guns, which truthfully was a concern. The people who were standing in the lobby from TPUSA heard that, there was a concern for a few seconds that they were gunshots. But you had those idiots in the car. You've got some classic cultural appropriation with the headscarves, right? Which is always great because the people who always chastise you for cultural appropriation are the ones who are appropriating culture, quote unquote. So you've got that. You've got the screaming, like you said, about fascism and all that other stuff. There's a simple solution for this. I hate to say this. The simplest solution is there's 900 inside and there's 150 outside. So all we have to do is block the street off, both ends, and open the doors. and let it solve itself.
Let it go.
and I think I hate to say this because I'm not necessarily advocating for violence, but as I have said, from being in many parts of the world and many cultures, there are people who only understand violence, period. And sometimes you have to teach them in the language that they understand. And that's unfortunately what is going to have to happen, I think, at some point to do this. There's going to have to be some sort of response, a counter protest of some sort, to let these people know that there is repercussions for your actions. And sometimes it hurts. Being stupid hurts. And that's how you stop being stupid. Right?
Yes.
And so this is just another example of, the continued uninformed hatred against Charlie Kirk and TPUSA by, people like Lily. Berkeley.
Lily. Lily.
Yeah. It's
it's I you get so tired of being angry too. Like I look at this girl, this Lily, and I think you are somebody's daughter. You are somebody's dumb, brainwashed daughter. And I get a little bit mad at the parents because we always blame the parents. And as a parent, I know that is a fact that we always get blamed for everything. So I kind of half mean this and I half don't. But it's like, these look like the products of gentle parenting. So can we not, right? Like, can we not, like,
100%.
teach your kid, you want to do your kid a service? Teach your kid that their opinion and their feelings are not the most important thing in the world. Being a good, caring, productive, useful to society and to others person is more valuable than your personal feelings. They just are. And you raise them like that, and you will find yourself producing a very well-equipped, well-balanced, useful human instead of these dippy kids. And don't send them to these liberal colleges, for heck's sake. Oh my goodness. Stop that.
The best news, truthfully, is that this crowd is the crowd that, one, believes in abortion, and two, same-sex marriages. So the reproduction value of this crowd goes down with every generation. And,
I mean, that is the most brilliant point of all. Let the evolution or lack of evolution
genetic
itself, right? Yeah, let it handle itself. We probably, oh my gosh, Clay, there's you've said a lot of brilliant things, but I think that might be the most brilliant one I've heard you say of all.
And oh, by the way, and the patriarchy. So they really don't want that going on.
Yes, hate patriarchy. I love that.
It's all down. It's all downhill for them.
All downhill. Everybody just sit back, relax, laugh about it, shake your head, and maybe throw a flying elbow once in a while. But no, I'm not advocating violence. Yes, I am. Yes, I am. Yes, I am. I'm not saying start it. I'm saying finish it if you have to. Right?
Yeah. Never hit first.
Never hit first.
Always hit back.
Yes. Yeah. Oh, there's going to be so many people in the comments mad about that. I don't care.
Fine. They're going to tell you you're unchristian-like, but that's
oh, that's so unchristian of you.
No,
you're a bad Christian, Elsa.
Old Testament. It's cool.
I like that. Yeah. I like the one. You ever hear the one? I know it's cliche, but they're like, "Yo, I'm from the kingdom, yes, but I'm from the south side of the kingdom." So, yeah.
Oh, who else is dying out? Truthfully,
yeah.
We have got a generational shift happening in politics in general, but specifically in Congress. I went through, as Elsa and as I threw this at Elsa, even I didn't understand, and I knew this was a topic, but even I didn't understand how severe this is in the next election cycle, of the changeover that's happening in Congress. And when I say that, so 37 representatives and 8 senators have already said they're not running for re-election. That's almost 10% of Congress. This has not happened in decades. Like it's been a long time since we've seen this much turnover, voluntary turnover. Now, a normal election cycle, you're going to get some older folks who lose. You're going to get whatever. Even obviously, you've got some folks who even die in office. But right now, we've got 37 plus 8. We've got 45 that are volunteering to not return to Congress. And some of the big hitters, right? See, the big names. You know, you've got Pelosi, who said she's not coming back. McConnell's not coming back. Durbin, Joni Ernst, Tuberville, who's not that old in Congress, but a big name, and even Nancy Mace, right? Those folks are either retiring from politics or they're stepping down to try and run for governor's office, which is the case of Joni Ernst, Tuberville, and Nancy Mace are all running for governor in their home states. But you've got some heavy hitters in there. You also have some folks who are old as dirt who are still planning on. Maxine Waters is planning on running again, right?
So crazy.
Who's the really old? Who's the guy who got thrown out of the last Trump speech?
Oh yeah, I can picture him. I can picture
that old guy. That old guy's running again, right?
Yeah, no surprise.
Yeah, so there's plenty of people in their early to mid 80s that are continuing to run for office 2 years from now, a year from now, or even 3 years from now. But we've got 10% turnover guaranteed in the next election cycle.
Oh boy. Well, I mean, this is something we've been all asking for ages, right? Get all of these, decrepit corpses out of there who, can barely walk. You got McConnell who's falling all over the place every 2 minutes, stroking out. And, sorry, I know it's mean, but I mean, come on now. Enough is enough. This is ridiculous. But, then you add the scary level to that, particularly when you're talking about the left with these new Democrats. These are, for the most part, openly socialist Democrats. And they are taking, we've talked about this before in multiple episodes, that they are taking over that party. And now here's the next big power move for them to step into pretty significant positions within our government. So that's a little scary. So we really need to be, really matching them, matching fire with fire, really. And I hope that's going to be the case, because we're going to have to really be on our toes here and have real, genuine fighters ready to go toe to toe against that. Otherwise, we're in deep trouble with these people.
Well, and the last election just last week is not a great indicator. Right. I mean, so you've got, you've got obviously Mamdani. We've got rise of socialists across Congress. There's probably going to be a socialist mayor in Seattle. I don't know if you've seen this. There is a young lady who is still taking money from her parents. She's married. Her husband works, and they still take money from her very wealthy parents so that they can continue to live in Seattle. But she's a known and admitted socialist, right? And so, and now you talk about Schumer being on his way out, potentially being replaced by AOC. So now you've got this, not just the old people leaving, but you've got a generational shift in ideas to the younger crowd. It just so happens that the younger crowd, many of them on the left, are socialists.
Right.
And so you're right. There's got to be some very, very pointed, very focused efforts by the GOP to countermand or counterattack those people. Unfortunately, what both parties are relying on at this point is gerrymandering. That's the solution, which I hate personally. I do hate it. But that's where things are. That's where things are going. Is the gerrymandering is the solution for a lot of this. But that doesn't change the ideas that walk into the Capitol building and into the chambers of Congress. If you get 50 whatever seats out of California, and you make them all blue, some of those folks you're going to increase the potential for a population of socialists walking into, the halls of government for the United States, which is very scary.
It's extremely scary. And we should all be paying very, very close attention to this. So everybody be on your toes, be paying attention. And listen, if you have any aspirations to get involved in politics and all, now's the time. Get involved locally. And I love to say this to people so that they can come back to me and say, are you doing that? Well, no, I'm here. I'm doing this, guys. I'm not going into politics. It's not going to happen. So that will never happen.
I've had a lot of people tell me that.
Yeah, I could see you doing it better than I could. I would prefer to see you doing something like that rather than me, although I don't, because then you would have to leave me, and that's not okay. So never mind, I take it back, retract it, did not even say it, didn't even suggest it. But that's something I would never, I don't have the bandwidth for that kind of nonsense. We got a couple more I really want to get to them. So
Yeah,
these are,
so another shift. Okay, so you got BBC.
Sorry.
Right?
Yeah,
No,
I should have done the other one. Okay.
Yeah, BBC. So President Trump, his January 7th speech, January 6th speech, knowingly altered by the BBC, changed the context significantly, and he did what he does, which is he turned around and he told them he's going to sue them for $1 million.
Yep.
Or a billion.
Billion. Yeah, billion. With
$1 billion. They had two of their board members, they're run by a board, two of their board members immediately resign.
Immediately.
And they're taking a lot of flack from inside their own organization that they have lost their way. They've lost their journalistic integrity. They know that President Trump wins these lawsuits hands down.
Yes.
And because he's done it, what, 4 times already?
Right. Yeah. I think this will be,
So the BBC is in a bad way, in a bad way,
really bad way. And let me tell you guys, if you haven't seen it, it's not just a little bit of editing. It is so bad. Like, here it is. This is it.
To the Capitol, and I'll be there with you. And we fight. We fight like hell. We're going to walk down to the Capitol, and we're going to cheer on our brave senators and congressmen and women. We're going to walk down to the Capitol, and I'll be there with you. And we fight.
So, say what now? He should not back down from that. He should sue them for $1 billion, bankrupt them, and
it's
start from scratch. That is so bad. I mean, what happens here in our media? Same bad. A little different. Like, I don't even think ours did it to that degree, right? Did we? I mean, maybe there were ones that cut it. There's a lot of selective editing. Yeah. They tend to, they go right up to the line generally. And
CBS is the one that comes to mind with that. Yeah. But they edited not necessarily President Trump, but they did do some of that. They edited your girl, Mamala. In favor of her.
Right.
To go against him. So, it's a little bit, it's different in the context. This one is so blatant. But yes, lawsuit, 1 billion with a B, and, immediate, resignation by a couple of board members. There's a lot of internal strife at the BBC, including their own journalists who are saying that they've got some issues they've got to resolve. And I would tell you that they're going to get handed an apology letter from the White House, probably written by Caroline Leavitt. They're going to read it. Yep. And there's some other people that are probably going to get fired, and then he will drop the lawsuit, and they'll be on their best behavior until they get caught again.
Yeah, absolutely. And this is what has to be done, and this is what needs to be done. Every single one of them. You're gonna do that. You're getting held accountable, and you're gonna pay. You're gonna pay dearly for it. You're gonna get called out. You're gonna pay all of the things, and the world, not just the country, the world is gonna know how badly you have lied and manipulated the opinions of people. And I hope it starts, how many times can we say, I hope it starts waking people up. It does, though. It does wake people. I have seen people who have been, what do they call it, red pilled. Red pill, they were left, even they call themselves far left at times, or extreme liberal. And, then it was like just one thing tipped it for them. And they started to say, hang on a second, if that's not true, this thing that I believed for so long, if that's not true, what else isn't true? And, and so we can't get jaded. We can't get that jaded that we say so-and-so is not savable, or you can't change their mind. You can just keep trying. Don't give up. Just keep putting truth out. That's the whole thing, right? Just keep putting the truth out for people, and somebody will see it. Somebody who didn't believe it before, they'll come around. Just one person at a time.
Listen, put this on our list for next week. But
okay.
if you think that this doesn't affect international relations with our greatest ally on the planet, you're wrong. because things are changing. That relationship between England and the United States is changing right now. And again, we'll put that on the list for next week because it's still developing. It's some stuff I read today, but we'll see how it pans out. But this may go well beyond just bad journalism, folks.
Yeah. I think you're very right, and that's a great idea. Should I do the last one, or should I do the one that I was supposed to do?
We'll hit very quickly Minneapolis, because I think this is a little bit on the nose for what we were talking about before. Folks, just very, very quickly, because the last one I want to do because it's funny. Elsa picked a great funny one, but this, I was not aware of this, and a former intelligence officer, a friend of mine, sent me an article about this, and so what happened in Minneapolis on last Tuesday in the election, was that Omar Fateh was not elected. He was the Somali, right? The very deliberate, very outwardly Somali spoken.
Waving his flag.
Yeah, waving the flag and all that stuff, right? He did not win his election. But we didn't really know why until I read this article. And so what happened was, we have Somali tribalism, clanism going on in Minneapolis. So Omar Fateh, right, is in the same clan, which is the Dawood clan, comes from the same clan in Somalia that Ilhan Omar comes from, right?
Oh.
She obviously endorsed him for mayor of Minneapolis.
Right.
There is, I think we've all come to learn that there's a dense Somali population, transplanted population in Minneapolis, because if we wanted to move them from Somalia to the United States, the best thing we could do is put them in the coldest climate we could find. So dense Somali population in Minneapolis, but there is another dense clan population up there, and I'll probably mispronounce it, but it's the Hawiye tribe, Hawiye clan from Somalia.
Wow.
They refused to support Omar Fateh for mayor because he's from a different clan. Wow. We have Somali clan alliances going on that's affecting American politics. In this case, it just so happened to work out in our favor, but that doesn't mean it will always be that way.
Right.
And so in all of my travels all over the bad places in the world, what I tried to explain to people, in Afghanistan is the best example, is Afghans don't give a crap about being an Afghan. They don't. It is their family. It is their tribe. It is their religion. And then actually it's probably the sect of their religion, and then their religion as a whole, and then being an Afghan. Because all the lines on that map were drawn by some white guy from Europe. They don't care about Afghanistan, truthfully, as a country. They don't. This is very much the same thing. Somalis don't really care about being Somalis. Maybe third or fourth priority down the line. And these are things that we, as Americans, are going to have to come to grips with, because this is what's happening inside our country right now. And this is not something that we have seen in any kind of recency at all. You could argue like old Irish versus new Irish in and around the turn of the century, and the early half of the 1900s. But that's about it, folks. Like that's about the only old country stuff that got carried over. But now this is a real thing, and with these dense populations having moved over, we have got to do. Our politicians, our political strategists now have to do cultural analysis inside our own population centers to make sure that they're hitting the right voters for elections. How crazy is that?
It's so crazy. And, I think there's two parts of this that are completely married together. And that is, this faction of these politicians and power people who are exploiting and taking advantage of, because it's all Democrats, it's all liberals that are taking advantage of, that liberal mentality of, we have to welcome the stranger, welcome everybody in, and, be nice, and don't, insult anybody's heritage or their culture, and accept everybody except for, straight white men and, Americans. It's scary and dangerous, and you can't discount any of it or ignore any of it, because that is exactly how all of this has been spreading and will continue to spread and grow and take over. And it's happening right before our eyes, and people are still like, "Huh? I don't see it. You're crazy. What are you talking about?" That's what scares me. The number of people with their heads in the sand. Always what scares me, that people refuse to educate themselves and open their eyes. But I can't even segue. I'm just going to jump right into this, guys. Are you ready? I'm going to read it out loud, guys, because maybe you're, making dinner or reading a book at the same time. I don't know, or playing Candy Crush. I don't know. Tom Brady has cloned his beloved dog, Junie. I think the dog's name is Junie. Yeah. Yes. Tom Brady did what all of us have, not all of us, but a lot of us have kind of half jokingly, half seriously have said at one time or another, like, oh, that was my favorite dog, best dog I ever had in my whole life. If only I could clone my dog. Well, not only did Tom Brady say that about his beloved dog, he done it. Cloned his dog. It's so surreal to me that somebody has done this or is doing this. So I got some details for you. Let's see. His current dog, Junie, is a clone of his late pit bull mix, Lua. Okay, so I had it wrong. His current dog is Junie. I had it backwards. He hasn't publicly confirmed the specific figure for his case. The cloning company involved, which is Biogen Pets and Equine, now acquired by Colossal Biosciences, so crazy, lists the service at $50,000 for a dog and up to $85,000 for a horse. I guess I could see it for horses because, if you're talking about racing horses and you want to, I don't know, replicate the winner, I can see that they're doing it, but I know the whole thing is a heck no. From the
have we not seen enough movies?
I know,
right?
I know.
This all goes horribly, horribly wrong.
Horribly wrong.
Right?
So wrong.
You too can clone your favorite pet.
Oh, and but where's the line, Clay? Where's the line? You're gonna clone your deceased husband because he was such a great guy? You're gonna clone your child?
How bad?
It's really scary. There, like you said, Clay, there's nothing truly good that can come from this. And why? And my husband said this many years ago, and it's never left my mind. He said, you know why? He always said, you know why, honey? Because people ruin everything.
Everything, yes.
People ruin, right? Yep. And he's so wise. People ruin everything. So everything that is good in theory and in intention and nature, humans will pervert it and destroy it and make it something ugly. So in my opinion, right? Thank you. Yeah. In my opinion, it is a flat out no. Yep. Don't do it. Don't allow it. Don't go down that road. It's not a good road. It will only lead to bad things. Yeah. And, on a very superficial level, I'm so happy for Tom that he, in his mind, got his dog back in some way. But it's honestly, it's creepy. It's weird. It points down a path of bad, dangerous things that we're probably well on already. I mean, what was the first thing? A goat? A sheep?
Sheep. Yep.
Sheep. Sally? No.
Well, I don't know the name, but I mean, they're talking about woolly mammoths now. They're talking about extinct, like Jurassic Park kind of stuff.
Yeah, here we go. I mean, nobody saw Jurassic Park?
We've seen the movies. This is all goes bad. But again, like you said, like your husband said, Tom Brady's doing this out of completely selfish intentions.
Yes.
Completely.
That's all it is.
He could go and spend $50,000 and probably rescue a whole heck
of a lot. Right.
50 dogs for life, right? Mm-hmm. Set them up for life. $50,000. He could do that, but he's doing it selfishly, recreating this dog that's gone for $50K. You want to talk about FU money, stupid money? You're on the high end of things. Like this is crazy. And
it's simply just because I can.
It should be illegal.
It should be. This is not something to play around with on a whim because you're, filthy rich and bored and don't feel like, pay somebody to train the dog that you have. Pay a trainer. You can pay for that. You could pay for a whole bunch of them. You could train all of the dogs in your entire neighborhood if you so we're so inclined. And again, fan of capitalism. I'm 100% saying your money, do as you choose with it, as long as it's within the legal bounds of everything and blah, blah, blah. But on the ethical
morality side,
all of the things, it is a bad path. Yeah. Nope. Yep. I agree. And again, I'll say it again. I get it. If theoretically, if I could clone my German Shepherd Max, who was such a great dog, I love that dog so much. Yeah, I would love to. But if somebody said, okay, let's do it, I would say, no, I'm good. It was a one of a kind, and that's okay. That's okay.
I've had some great bird dogs along the way. Not doing it.
Yeah. No, just not doing it. And again, it is truly because of the slippery slope.
Yeah.
What's next?
Oh yeah.
Like
100%.
what's next and what will happen? And here Jurassic Park and the whole darn thing. Yeah. So there you have it. Weigh in on it, guys. Would you do it? Be honest. We're not going to come at you if you would do it this year. That's on you. I don't agree with you, but it's on you if you want to do it. So weigh in on any and all of the topics, of course. We appreciate you guys hanging out with us. Clay, tell them what just dropped for everybody, please.
Yeah, book 3. And I'm remiss because I don't have it sitting in front of me, but book 3, my third book in the Terry Davis series titled Rebellis, dropped yesterday on Tuesday. If you're a fan of action fiction, Jack Ryan, Jack Reacher, Jason Bourne type novels, Terry Davis is your guy. This is the third book in the series, again, titled Rebellis. You can go to Amazon, search my name, and you'll find it. They're all out there. If you like a good action fiction run, these are the books for you.
Absolutely. Go get those books. It's a whole series, guys. You don't have to wait for any of them. You can get, right? It's so awesome. You can get all 3 right now and go back to back to back. It's such a great thing. I love it. So congratulations on that.
And
super excited.
Somebody already finished it. I actually had somebody tell me last night. They got it. I think they bought the Kindle version or something. They got it and somebody's finished it already. So
that's awesome. Tell them to get over there and review it.
Yeah. And I told them that. But if you're worried it's going to take a while to read or it's not going to hold your attention or it's going to be boring, clearly that's not it. Somebody finished it in a day.
Outstanding. Congratulations again. And guys, we will, you're very welcome. We'll see you all next week. Well, we'll see you in the comments, but we'll see you next week too. Take care, guys.
Combat veteran Terry Davis thought he left the fight behind. In Tampa, he uncovered a deadly conspiracy. Now, he's back home in Chicago, and war has followed him to his doorstep. Gangs armed like soldiers, a shadowy enemy rising from the past, and one man who refuses to stand down. From the quiet suburbs to the shores of Lake Michigan, Terry Davis will risk everything to protect the people he loves, because that is his cross to bear. Clay Novak's explosive new novel, Cross to Bear, Book 2 in the Terry Davis series.
She's the voice behind the viral comedy, bold commentary, and truth-packed interviews that cut through the chaos. Author, brand creator, proud conservative Christian, this is Elsa. Welcome to the show that always brings bold faith, real truth, and no apologies.